Good day, my dear friends, speakers, and all our viewers. This is our offline and online event. Ukrainian Media Crisis Center continues our meetings, and I announce our today's topic, the violation of rights of Ukrainian prisoners of war in Russian Federation. Good day to everybody. First of all, I would like to thank to Media Crisis Ukrainian Center that we can in this way to attract attention to rights of military prisoners of war. Today's our press conference will be dedicated to personal stories that are met by families of prisoners of war, where we go to what agencies we turn and what answers we receive. Our participants today will be Victoria Bozhko, co-founder of civil organization Warriors Liberation, wife of officer of military unit 3057 from Mariupol, Victoria. And Valeria Tkachenko, co-founder of Warriors Liberation civic organization, daughter of officer of military unit 3057 from Mariupol, National Guard. Also, we have today with us Zvonyk Hanna, mother and wife of military servicemen of territorial defense of Mariupol city. It's known that approximately 10,000 of Ukrainian prisoners of war are currently in Russia. From those who return, we learn about what horrible and hard conditions they are being kept there. These are conditions, basically concentration camps of 21st century. They don't have warm clothes, no drugs. They are being tortured by hunger, cold, but most importantly, they don't have communication with their close ones. The absence of information and communication with close ones is another of ways of torturing. I am Epifanova Natalia. I am aunt of a conscript soldier of military unit 3057 that was based in Mariupol. Conscript soldiers were not supposed to participate, direct participation in the combat. However, because of the reasons that have not been revealed, they on 24th of February stood together with professional soldiers. They stood to defend the city of Mariupol. From March, we lost communication with him, and only in the end of June we were informed from militaries that saw him in captivity. Still, we don't have any message from him about him. We don't have communication at all. We don't know where he is. Russia does not confirm his keeping as prisoner of war. So the absence of information is also a psychological terror of our close ones. I give the floor now to Victoria Bozhko. Thank you. Good day. I'm a wife of a military prisoner of war officer of the military unit 3057 12th Brigade, Mariupol City. My story started probably as many of other similar stories in Mariupol. In the beginning, you know, as you wake on 24th of February, and I couldn't believe that this was happening, that this actually happened. But with my husband, we took decision that we needed to evacuate because we have small daughter, and mostly we worried about her. And in the same day, 24th of February, we left with the daughter, and he remained in Mariupol. All that time, he was in Mariupol and defended the city as the majority of the garrison of Mariupol. This is 82 days. He was imprisoned from Azovstal. he was taken captivity on 20 of June. As I know, he was kept in Olenivka first, but personally he did not tell me this. We didn't have any communication. Only I received a call from Geneva Red Cross, and they told me that he filled out the prisoner of war questionnaire, and so he's been kept as captive. Then I received confirmation from Russian Federation that he was confirmed as a prisoner of war, and that's it currently. From those who were released from captivity, I learned that on 30th of September he was moved from Olenivka colony to some other place, and since that I don't have any information where he is, in what condition. The story, started as a personal, but now I'm in Kyiv in order to fight as for my husband and also for all prisoners of war. We joined together so many women who have also the same pain as me, but it's not only wives, they are also mothers who are waiting for their sons, and many other women. That's why this is our big pain, and we want to fight for them, at least as a minimum to establish some sort of communication, at least to know where they are, at least to know about some conditions, to ensure that they have minimum conditions, because those who return, it's horror. I don't know how to call this in any other words, because the anorexic state, absence of meals, normal meals, absence of drugs, medicine, absence of clothes. They are being released in some flip-flops without socks, in cold weather, in frost. Absolutely no procurement in the colony. So violation of all Geneva Convention terms and conditions, and this should not be like this. That's why we want to attract attention to this of our authorities, powers, and all international communities to this problem, and we want to receive some help in this matter, at least to establish some communication and to improve their conditions there. But in fact, the best what we can do is their release from captivity. Yes, there are exchanges, and we're grateful to our authorities for this, but it's too slow. It's too slow because they don't have lots of time. The time goes, and they are in a bad state there, and we don't know for how long they will be able to withstand that. So we ask, please help us to release captives. Valeria, the floor goes to you. Good day to everybody. My name is Valeria. I'm a daughter of officer of the National Guard of Military Unit 3057. Our story started in 14 year. We are from Donetsk city. My mother is from Donetsk city. We lived there, and my father is from Luhansk region. Father was serving in Military Unit 3037. In 14 year, his unit went to Mariupol and became 3057. Later, together with my mother, we came to Mariupol and lived just peacefully, normally. But on the 24th of February, our lives was divided before and after. Father, together with his comrades, defended Mariupol. Then he defended Azovstal. He, on 18th of May, he went out of Azovstal. He still remains in captivity. When there was an exchange of commanders, our friend was exchanged from a higher command. We met with him, and he told us that father was in bunker that was buried actually 3 times, together with together with father, there were many conscripts. In order to came to the surface, they blew up themselves from inside. We don't have communication with father. The last communication was on the 18th of May. When we talked with our friends, who was exchanged, he said they had the last state of annexia. They have internal traumas of the scalp. Since some prisoners of war felt better after several months, and especially after release, but our prisoners still remain in captivity. Several months ago, they were removed from Olenivka and brought to Russia, but we don't know where they are now. We don't receive any information about their state of health. Many officers, they are 45 plus years old. They have many chronic diseases. Without a proper medical treatment, care, their state health deteriorates. We also encountered another problem, confirmation from the Red Cross. That is the confirmation from Ukrainian side that he became captive, and from the Red Cross, and also in addition, before that, Red Cross called us, and they confirmed that father filled out that prisoner of war form, but they called us later and told that Russian Federation did not confirm his status as a POV. I don't understand how Red Cross, how they need a confirmation of some party. If they are an international organization, then you should not depend neither of Ukrainian party, neither of the Russian Federation side, of the aggressor side. I don't understand at all why Red Cross did not even once manage to get to Olenivka and to other places where prisoners of war are kept. You are the only international organization, according to Geneva Convention, which has a mandate, like authority, to have access to military prisoners of war, and you still, even once, you didn't manage to break to them. The garrison of Mariupol did everything and impossible in order to fend off the forces of such huge forces of enemy, and so they pulled all the enemy forces on themselves. They did impossible. Please, Red Cross, Tkachenko, please do impossible for them as well. Thank you. Hanna Zvonyk. Thank you. My name is Hanna Zvonyk. My story starts also on 2014 from Donetsk, where we met war. And the family, our three children, my husband and I, we went to Kyiv. We spent in Kyiv 3 months, and husband joined Azov battalion. Back that time it was a battalion, not a regiment. Then son also joined the father. For 1 year we lived with a daughter and the older son in Kyiv we spent, and in 1 year I understood that I needed family, and I with daughter went to a husband and a son to Mariupol. For 6 years we lived in Mariupol. We lived very good. Our house in Donetsk was bombed out, and in 6 years we managed to buy apartment in Mariupol, a left bank near the sea. Everything was beautiful. On the 30th of April, my son was supposed to get married of this year. The husband ended his contract on the 11th of February, but it happened so that on 24th of February, the left bank, our left bank, one of first areas which came under shelling, of those bastards. My husband and son didn't think even a second. They returned, but not to Azov. They returned to a territorial defense, and I and my daughter, we remained in Mariupol. We lived for 52 days in Mariupol under bombs and shellings. We drank water from pools. We cooked our meals on bonfire. In 52 days, we understood that we needed to evacuate because it was horrible. On the 7th of April, I was in a play theater, and I was asking how to evacuate from Mariupol, and I saw how Azovstal was shelled, and it was a terror. It is impossible to describe in words. We managed to leave. 1 week we went to Kyiv. We went through those horrible tortures on those so-called checkpoints, but we left. We managed to escape. After that, I saw video where my child became captive of Kadyrivtsi in Azovstal. In 1 week, the other side called me and told me that he was killed. Because he pretended as a territorial defense member, but everybody knew him as Azov member. He was a very famous person, very media person in Donetsk. I'm very, very worried. He is an athlete, participated champion of world champion on karate world champion, and he was recognized in Azovstal by our joint friend with whom. And after that, he was killed. Husband remained in Azovstal. On the 2nd of May, he called us just one time. I told him that we buried our son in Donetsk. Husband didn't call us. There was no communication from him. Later, Red Cross informed us that he came from Azovstal and he is alive and he is kept in Olenivka. After the terror attack on Olenivka, I still don't know what happened to him, whether he is alive or not, because son was trained, coached by father, and he's also an athlete and karate athlete, known by the whole city of Donetsk. There are many questions, but to which we don't have answers at all, and I don't even want to say more. Thank you. Summing up our today's media conference, we want one more time to turn to international community. Our militaries, warriors came to captivity, our close ones came to captivity, defending not only liberty of Ukraine, but also safety and values of the entire Europe. We ask you, please find solutions, find some political levers to put pressure on Russia so that they uphold the rights of prisoners of war according to Geneva Convention. Find some levers, how to exchange all for all, or to internate them to different countries separately. We want to address International Red Cross Committee and International you are the only organizations that can be active in order to ensure military rights of military prisoners of war. Finally, form a humanitarian mission and pass them medicine and warm clothes. Visit our prisoners of war. Establish communication with families. Also, we want to turn to Ukrainian authorities, to address Ukrainian authorities, convince international organizations. Don't leave foreign diplomats don't forget even for 1 second our militaries of war as we remember them. If anybody can do something to liberate our militaries, prisoners of war, do it. Addressing the international community, once again, we want to say that a civilized world cannot stand by when in 21st century there are tortures and killing and torturing of Ukrainian prisoners of war in captivity. Every life is important, but when we speak of tens of thousands of lives, international organization represented by United Nations, by Red Cross Committee that were created in order to ensure safety and rights of human. We once again call on you to apply all efforts in order to find a third neutral country according to Geneva country as envisaged in Geneva Convention and negotiate a release of prisoners. Thank you. If there are some questions. No question. I'm from a Fakti newspaper issue. Can you tell how is it possible that 3 times you buried blood, they were blowing up themselves? Yes, of course, we met with our friends who was exchanged, and he told us some information about what was going on in Azovstal. And he told us that they were with father in different bomb shelters. He was in one and father was in a different bomb shelter. And so they were bombed by 24 around the clock. There were phosphoric bombs, and there were some shots that hit the bomb shelter where my father was, and everything was collapsing because those bomb shelters were not built to withstand this kind of bombardment. Those bomb shelters were some for technical catastrophe, maybe some natural disasters. They couldn't protect from bombs, and the walls, they just were basically falling on heads, and so they blown up all the passages in order to get outside. They blew up because all the passages were blown up, were barricaded. That's why they blew up those passages in order to make a passage outside. When your father was on Azovstal, did he have established communication? Yes. As we were told, there was one phone for many people, just maybe for bomb shelter or for one room, and they all wrote messages to their relatives, and including my father and one boy, maybe some other father, and they were running somewhere maybe 5 kilometers. They were running to the place where there was a connection signal, where there was some signal. It was a Kyivstar probably, and we received the messages to WhatsApp. So there was only WhatsApp that had a signal. So, Mama made screenshots, and she told us you will be showing them to your children later, how we communicated with your father. Mama was looking for conscripts in Azovstal because they didn't write to their parents, and mothers, they were worrying very much for them. And my mom asked father it's all through messaging. Can I write to you surnames of conscripts because their mothers are worrying a lot, and you will tell us maybe they are next to you? And he said yes, because next to me I have many conscripts next to him, and actually yes, they were, most of them were next to him, to the father. And recently we organized a motor rally, and my mother was approached by one of those mothers, and she thanks to your husband for he was there with my son. I would like to add something to that. I would like to add, we would like to pass this feeling how it was hard. They were in Azovstal, and those who were in Mariupol, it's like hell on earth. Many say if there is hell on earth, then it is Mariupol. And my husband, when he called us, when he established communication from his phone, he was waiting for 3 a.m. at night when there were no bombardment, and he was running for 5 kilometers to catch a signal to ask me how I am. Because from Mariupol I went to Melitopol, and in several days after the start of the war, Melitopol also became occupied territory, and I'm a wife of a military. I have a registered address in a military unit, and my child also registered in military unit, so we were worrying how to safety evacuate, because from Melitopol to Zaporizhia there were only 80 kilometers, but there were 30 checkpoints, 30, and it's 14 hours of hardship of women and very, very small children. Very small children couldn't even go to toilet. This is the path that we undertook. And my husband ran 5 kilometers in 3 a.m. at night just to ask how I was, because I was a wife of a military. Because in Melitopol, where he was born and lived before Mariupol, he lived the most of his life. In Mariupol he lived since 2015, but even there in Melitopol there were searches. And there were searches in his building where his grandma lives. And I don't know what would happen if I were at that time with my child. What would have done with me, so that to trick him out of Azovstal, because there were such provocations, because they captured some close ones, relatives, to make pressure on Azovstal soldiers to make them surrender. And when I talked to my husband in Azovstal, I always asked can it be that there is no exit from the situation? Something should be, some solution should be, but there were no solution. And every day you talked like it was the last day, and you didn't know whether he would come, whether he would call tomorrow or not. And because every day, only on Azovstal, 100 bombs were dropped on Azovstal every day. It's impossible to imagine what they went through there. And when you found some communication to talk, and when you heard those sounds of explosions through the phone, it was horrible, scary, even from the distance. And it's impossible to imagine what they went through there, because I was not there, but it is horrible. And so they went through one hell, and then now they have the second hell to go through in captivity, and they go through this hell for 7 months, and some even for a longer time. Those who came to captivity not from Azovstal but from the city, they for 8-9 months in captivity, and there is no confirmation that they are in captivity. There is no confirmation. How to live with this uncertainty, I don't know. It's very difficult, but we don't give up. We will continue to fight, because we want for them to return. They deserve. Everybody says they are heroes, because they kept so much forces of Russian Federation. Such a great number of forces they kept. There were only 3,000 of militaries in Mariupol, and there were over 10,000 of Russian militaries. And those 3,000 defended Mariupol against 10,000 of militaries, and they gave time to our country to prepare everything to defend. And I think that this time really helped our country. That's why help them. If they're heroes, free them. Find them. I think that it's impossible. It's not possible that there is no solution. There must be a solution. We just need to have a desire to free them. There is a question from our viewers. What is the situation with civil prisoners of war, and what legislation requires their return? With us, there should be a daughter of a civil prisoner of war with us. We know currently that as of now, civil prisoners of war are kept in the same conditions as military prisoners of war. For instance, Kyiv region was occupied from 24th of February, and through kidnapping, military men, they were taken captives. According to Geneva Convention of Humanitarian Law, civilians should not be at all prisoners of war. They must be released. But for Russia, it disregards, it violates international humanitarian law. For them, it's not a law.